Testing. Are we live? Okay, so first time going live for our virtual open house. If you could, I'd appreciate it, maybe sending a message saying this is going out there, like an emoji or a thumbs up, just to confirm this is working. This is our first time with a live event, I think, mine personally, so bear with us as we kind of work things out, but we appreciate you guys coming and doing this, and want to make sure you realize that your feedback and questions are a big part of this. So we'd love for you guys to ask questions. If you need me to stop at any time, I'm happy to do so. But yeah, these are weird times. We all have to adjust, and this is an example of that. So again, bear with us. So why are we closed right now? You obviously know the main reason is what's going on, but there are certain schools or certain other post-secondary options or just general education options that are moving forward with their program and curriculum. We didn't act that way. One of the reasons being we didn't want to sacrifice the quality of our education. That's a big part of what we strive towards here at Rosedale. We're very student-centered, and we didn't want to sacrifice that quality. So while we are offering some of our gen ed classes online, we won't sacrifice the quality of our hands-on education. So things are developing, but we're going to get back soon, so stay tuned for that. I want to make sure we get across with that. Now, that said, even though our physical building is empty and closed here today, it doesn't mean the admissions process is done. We do have admissions reps available to chat, to FaceTime, to video chat, whatever is easiest for you. We can get that ball rolling for sure now, and it's a great time to do so, especially a lot of you high schoolers out there that are unsure what to do after graduation. We can help you through that process. So definitely reach out. There's ways to kind of do that at the end we'll talk about, but make sure you reach out to us if that's a question for you. Now, speaking of admissions reps, on this video kind of comment chat there, we'll have our folks from admissions reading and listening to your questions. So if something pops up about length of program or specifics that I don't cover, feel free to ask those questions, and our folks inside admissions will get to answer those in that response area below the video here. So that's something to look out for. In addition, I think Angela or someone from Rosedale will be posting a link to it in our comment section to get more information. If you want to click that link, provide your information, we'll reach out to you with specific questions you may have. Beyond that, send us a direct message on Facebook. We'll take a look at that and get to you that way as well. Okay, so for those who don't know, maybe this is your first time hearing or listening about Rosedale, just a bit of background. We've been around for over 70 years, always here in the Pittsburgh area. Let's walk inside, it's going to read. Let's walk inside. So you guys can hear the volume here. Yeah, so to avoid that wind confusion, just a little background on Rosedale. We've been around for 70 years, private nonprofit institution. We're all about the trades. So while we're a college, we're certainly a different kind of college. Not pre-med students running around or English majors. We're all focused on the trades. So all of our resources, instructors, equipment, we're all focused on that. A couple aspects of us being a private nonprofit, what does that mean to you? I think first and foremost, it makes us very much student-centered. If our success is essentially completely contingent upon the success of our graduates. So if our grads aren't getting good paying jobs in their field of study right upon graduation, that's a knock on us. So we're very proactive when it comes to not only training our students at a high level, but getting them good paying jobs right upon graduation. In addition, as a private nonprofit, the money we take in through tuition and different streams of revenue, what that means, for example, I go to a lot of high schools and do presentations to recruit students to come to Rosedale. Let's say 4 students from Seneca Valley come to Rosedale next year. I don't get a bonus or anything out of that. The money we take in has to be reinvested back into the school. So better equipment, better facilities, additional instructors, that kind of thing. Again, it kind of feeds our students, student-centered approach, I should say. So, okay. That's a little bit kind of the nuts and bolts. We're going to go over a lot today. I want to make it not too long for you guys. Let's try to make this quick. I will tell you briefly off the top of what we're going to see today. We'll see all of our programs, which include automotive, collision repair, electrical, diesel, HVAC, industrial technician, welding, and truck driving by itself. And we'll kind of get the nuances and differences of all those programs here in a second, but keep that in mind. We'll go from there. So let's head inside. So that's our front main entrance we just walked through. As you can see, this is kind of a main office area. This is where our president's office is located. Our admissions rep's located up here. Financial aid issues for students can be taken care of up here as well. Different accounting, that kind of thing. So pretty much administration up here as we come in through. And we'll walk back into more the bells and whistles back here in the shop. You can see these higher posts. These are all graduates of the last, 5-10 years where they're working. We'll get more to job placement numbers, but that's a big thing you're paying for, I think, a school like us, is the end. I mean, you want to pay for something that's going to have a result at the end, return on investment. This is an example of that. So now we're going to walk into, and we'll keep moving forward here briefly. Again, these are some more examples of grads at work as we walk into our kind of more educational area where we have our shops, labs, classrooms. We'll kind of go through here now. So one of the main things I definitely talk about, or I keep harping, I should say, today so far, is why come to a school like us? It's to get a good paying job upon graduation. So this is where that entire process essentially begins. These are our job placement boards. So we are literally getting faxes, phone calls, emails on a daily basis looking to hire our graduates. These industries are in great demand right now. So everything from automotive, collision repair, electrical, diesel, HVAC, industrial tech, welders, they're all in demand. So this is kind of in a bit of a state of change, but that said, these are job listings by program. So these ones here appear to be HVAC. As an HVAC student, you can walk up and say, oh man, this gig is in my neck of the woods, $25 an hour, I'm interested. As a student, you take that off, you do some more research, walk into our student services department. They work on resume development, interviewing skills, maybe some insight about that employer that student didn't have. They can share that. So it's very much, we're very proactive when it comes to helping our students find jobs. And these aren't just full-time careers. There's also a part-time available as well. So again, I say this is in kind of a state of transition. What I mean by that is that a lot of these job listings are now on our website via a platform called Handshake, that kind of thing. So while these are visual reminders, it's also kind of categorized online as well. So just want to stress that to you as well. And again, student services is very proactive and helpful when it comes to that. A career fair, what we're going to show you a picture of that in a second, is a big aspect of that portion as well. So now we're going to kind of get into some of our lab work and programs specifically, beyond some other things. We'll start with electrical technology, if Lindsay can follow me back this way. And by the way, my wife's filming this right now. Shout out to Lindsay on the phone right now. Some beautiful artwork from our president's brother, who did this back in the day. But behind me here is a portion of our electrical labs. So we're going to walk in here through pretty quickly. And normally I have safety glasses on because we're closed. It's not a big of issue. But this first floor, you see where our students work. It replicates what a student would see, or a graduate, I should say, would see in a residential electrical applications. So 3 ways, bending conduit, installing light fixtures, security systems, all that kind of thing. There's different coding and processes involved with residential versus things like commercial and industrial. And if Lindsay, you could pan up top there, you can see our second floor in this lab. What's the difference? It's the metal studding, and that replicates more of a commercial setting. So businesses, schools, things like that, where, again, different applications, different codes for that. We cover both aspects. And what's the reason behind that? We find that with a different kind of wide berth of experience in different areas, it opens more opportunities. So if you're not just pigeonholed in just residential or just commercial or just industrial, if I'm going to show you in a second, it provides more opportunities upon graduation, if that makes sense. So let's cruise back over here to industrial. And after this, we look at industrial. I'm going to pause here for a second and review if there are questions or anything. So we'll take care of that 1 second. So again, this is an additional portion of our electrical program. And this is more of kind of the, like I said, industrial side of things. and this is blowing up for us in a major way. A lot of it's driven by, honestly, gas and oil, but industrial sites, this replicates a lot of what happens in industrial sites. So, as an example, we have PLC technology that's taught in this area, and what that is programmable logic controls. It's used everywhere. There's a million applications for it, but it's huge to have that kind of experience and knowledge to be able to service, repair, I should say, and replace certain pieces in this thing. An example, okay, you think of an electrician, there's courses of residential applications, electricians, commercial, but a lot of our grads with the experience they gain in this area of the program go on to work for places like PennDOT, Easy Pass lanes, all those Easy Pass lane like readers, that's all PLC technology. We have a student working, or had a student working up for American Eagle in Warrendale, PA, the massive distribution center. We had a student maintaining all of their service equipment there and the conveyor belts, motor controls. The technology and curriculum here replicates that. That could be then used in an industrial setting. So great demand for electricians in both residential, commercial, and industrial. So it does provide a bunch of opportunities, and that said, demand's really high for that. Were there any questions we had so far?
I think Rosedale's taking care of them in the comments.
Yeah, so again, if you have questions, I think my team's helping me out here answering those questions immediately. If we need to stop, hopefully just call that other phone, Rosedale folks, and we'll go from there, if that makes sense. So we'll move down a little further down this way. Again, we talked about what's the main aim for experience here and getting a degree here, or diploma, I should say, either one. What's the goal there? Why would you come to a school like this? Beyond the training, again, I think it's that good paying job and investment upon graduation. So these folks are obviously out today with being closed, but this team is one of the things I love to talk about most about Rosedale. We touched on it briefly, but their assistance when it comes to resume development, interviewing skills, general kind of knowledge or awareness about a certain company a student desires to work for, they are very, very helpful when it comes to that. So we become, in a lot of ways, a feeder for all these industries, not just in Western PA, but increasingly nationwide. And they become the folks that kind of get the request from companies on, let's say, hey, we need 7 welders in Beaver County, or we need 6 diesel techs up in Armstrong, whatever that might be. These folks take that knowledge and then present it to our students, and they're very helpful with that. So happy to talk about these guys. And again, our success is contingent upon the success of our graduates. This helps ensure that. That makes sense. So we'll keep cruising back this way. Not much to see here, but these are our electrical classrooms. So beyond the lab work we showed for electrical, there is classroom work involved. Our students may have some theory in these classrooms and then depart into the lab to actually do that theory in a hands-on fashion. So wanted to touch on that. I'm going to briefly walk through what's called our shoebox, and you can kind of walk in with me here, Lindsay. So this is essentially a multi-purpose room, but the reason I wanted to show it off for us, if you were to become, a student here at Rosedale, this is where orientations a lot of time occur, but beyond that, this is a great spot for, let's say, we have a lot of female empowerment clubs, military clubs, car clubs, that they'll have meetings in this room right here. So for example, once a month, our Rosedale Riveters, which are a female empowerment group, they'll meet here for a breakfast. Our Vet Tech Club, which is our military group, they meet here once a month for, again, a breakfast or that kind of thing. But a lot of times we'll have industry training. Volvo was just here, Mazda, folks like that. And this is a great kind of area to take advantage of that. So a lot of usage for this room as well, even though it's kind of a multi-purpose room. And now I want to show you one of the fun spots that people always love. I know you're watching me on a phone right now, so you couldn't smell it anyway, but generally speaking, if they were open right now, it would smell phenomenal in here. This is our steel toe station. So Stacy and her team do a great job running breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. As a student, you can basically put your meal plan on your student ID, walk through, scan it, and get your meal here every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as I mentioned. There is a deli with salads, subs, and wraps made to order daily. Pizza station, again, makes pizzas every single day. Our grill's got like burgers, chicken sandwiches, chicken fingers, Philly cheesesteaks made daily again. And then we have an entree station where it's a different entree every day, like Wing Wednesdays or whatever it might be. It changes to good food at a reasonable price. So I wanted to share that with you guys as well. So I wanted to have Lindsay kind of pan across just these. We already kind of touched on this, but some of these pictures. And the reason I wanted to kind of show this is, our students certainly work hard. That's a big kind of prerequisite to be here, but we play hard too. We don't have a collegiate football team or a baseball team or those kind of things, but we certainly have fun. There's competitions, there's awards days, there's the clubs I mentioned earlier, student picnics, car shows, car clubs. So there is there is a collegiate life associated with Rosedale. It's not just, there's a student life associated. So I want to make sure we talk about that. And you can see some of the pictures up on here as we go through. An example here is our Rosedale Rocket. We ran for a number of years. We're probably going to bring it back here soon. We had a school bus that we dropped the Cummins in, ripped the seats out. Our students became kind of the pit team for it. An instructor drove it out at Lernerville Speedway. But that's the kind of stuff we get into all the time, beyond the classroom and curriculum work, for sure. Toy drives for Toys for Techs. Mock interviews. This is an awesome day for our students. So, students come in that day. We have employers come in, and essentially our students can sign up to meet with employers. What happens during these days is, let's say they sit down with, one example is Monica from Cummins. She hires our grads a decent amount. So, again, students dress up that day. They come down. They sit with her for a number of minutes and do what's called like a practice mock interview. At that time, Monica can say, hey man, you were great during this interview, but you referenced this experience. Maybe I'd say this other experience instead. Or your resume has this certification on it. I like that certification, but maybe I'll highlight this OSHA certain, whatever it might be. So it's awesome real life feedback from employers before our students graduate to make them that much more prepared for when they do graduate. And a lot of times, this isn't every student's experience, but a lot of times we hear from graduates, they'll say to a student, hey, I see you graduate in June. We're going to offer you X amount of dollars at this location. Let us know what you think. Again, that's not every student, but it does speak to the demands out there. And a lot of times our students get multiple job offers, which is super exciting. Not what I experienced at all going to a four-year school. So, it's an exciting time. If you're into this kind of thing and you're looking to be hands-on versus the classroom, maybe envision a career that's not in an office all day, and you have a desire to work on cars or be an electrician or welder or any one of these fields we're talking about, chase it. Don't look at like a fallback or a secondary pathway. There's crazy demand for it. Make it your dream, make it your passion, and get after it. I know your guys, or I don't know who's all on this, but when I was in high school getting close to graduation, I know the message that was kind of preached to me by counselors, my relatives, whoever it might have been, was, the four-year path was like the only way to be successful in the American economy. And I'm not saying you still can't do that. You definitely can. But I think a big factor in that is knowing what you want to do. So if you're undecided like I was and think you can just go get a four-year degree from anywhere and have a job waiting for you upon graduation, it might not be the guarantee it once was. And that's what I experienced. We'll keep walking as I talk here. But I went to Arizona State, graduated in like 07, 08 area. And, I couldn't find a job anywhere. Ended up bartending, waiting tables for a number of years. And conversely, ICR graduates, crazy demand for it. So I'm not saying one option's better than the other. I think a big factor in this is knowing what you want to do. And if this is what you want to do, get after it. I'm telling you right now, there's options for it. So, okay, I'll get off my soapbox here. This hallway here is all of our Gen Ed classes. So this is general education classes. And I tell students that a lot of times, especially coming out of high school, and they're like, man, Sean, I wanted to get away from my math and my science classes. I'm much more of a hands-on person. We get that. We totally get that. But that said, this stuff is important in our curriculum. There is math involved, there is physics involved, there is science involved. And we're offering an associate's degree for a lot of our programs. So to satisfy that, these classes are mandated. But our math and our science classes and even our physics classes, they're all applied. So when I say math and science, like for our auto and diesel students and things like that, the math they take is applicable. So it's like gear ratio, torque, things they'll actually need to know upon graduation. not some abstract calculus where you're like, why the hell am I learning this? It'll make sense to you upon graduation as well. And really quickly, I want to pan into this classroom here, and we can just show this. The reason I want to show this class is this is small business management that's taught in this class. So this is a huge class in my mind that students can take advantage of. We'll walk further down here, but I think the pairing of the hard technical skills and knowledge you learn in the programs we offer, paired with the soft skills and business acumen, really creates an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. And we're seeing more and more and more of that. So this is our entrepreneur row here. Some of you folks might recognize Scanner Danner or Eric the car guy. He's actually a graduate and kind of a instructor here with us still. These are all folks that, again, have taken their knowledge in the hard skills area that have great demand, and then took it a step further and became their own boss and opened their own business. You got to bust your butt and be responsible, obviously, to get there, but that is a real pathway for our graduates. And we're seeing it more and more. I'm really excited about that. So yeah, this is definitely a big, big shift in what we're seeing, and we're definitely excited about that. Not to repeat myself. We'll keep going as well.
Steve asked if the mock interviews ever lead to real job offers from that company.
It does. That's a good question, Steve. Yeah. I know our student success team can speak more to that, but I know for a fact I've talked to students that say earlier, I know Monica from Cummins will say, candidate, they realize they want that student so bad and demand is so high that they'll make a job offer before they graduate. And a lot of times they'll say it becomes bidding wars for the best students, but again, that's not every single student that experiences that, but it's not a rarity. Demand is that high that we become essentially a feeder for a lot of these industries. So yeah, you could lead to a real job offer right then and there a lot of times. It's a great question. Great question. Just here quickly, this is our computer lab where computer content is taught in here. It's also a place for a lot of times tutoring and test assistance as well. So just another resource for our students as well. So we electrical labs earlier, and I'm excited to kind of talk about, we're ready, that program is busting at the seams for us. There's a lot of demand for it. We have a lot of students in it right now. So to kind of satisfy that growth and demand and to kind of increase our technology and experience for our students, we're about to, it's in the process of being built, we're expanding our footprint. And this will be the brand new electrical lab for our students. Super excited to show this off. It'll be very much cutting edge technology. And this will be up and running soon for our students. Again, there's not a whole lot to see quite yet. It's just in its infancy stages, but keep in mind the electrical labs we saw will be over double in their footprint here within a couple months. So just keep that in mind. We are super excited about that. To my left and to Lindsay's right, we also have what's called our patriotic place. So this is our wall that appreciates the armed forces. We have a ton of students and even namely instructors who have served or another that have either used their GI benefits to come back, but we really want to kind of champion and appreciate their service. We have a person in our on our financial aid office who's very much VA affairs, I don't know what you say, aware or has experience in that area, but what I'm trying to say to you guys is if you have military benefits when it comes to GI Bill and those different forms of revenue to help support tuition, we are very much partners with all that. So happy to champion that. Again, we have a group here, it's called Vet Techs. They meet once a month to kind of talk about a variety of issues, whether it be VA benefits, PTSD issues, what it might be. We'll bring an outside speaker in and kind of champion that as well. So we're proud to do that, and thank you for your service. Okay, let's get into some of the fun stuff here now. So I think you can kind of pan behind me, Lindsay, go both ways, but behind me here is kind of the nuts and bolts of our automotive labs. So there's a lot to take in here. Let's kind of cruise back here for a second, get you more in the shop. Yeah, so you can see a number of vehicles. We're not even open right now, but there's a number of vehicles still in our shop. And this is a huge bustling area of activity during a normal school day. So there are certain post-secondary programs out there in the automotive world that just focus on like certain manufacturers, like just I don't know, just GM or just certain foreign import cars. We don't work that way. So the way we run it, it's a live shop for the most part. All different kinds of makes and models. And the idea behind that, I think, is to, again, not pigeonhole our students into one kind of pathway for a career. This opens a lot of doors that way. This automotive technology program is super comprehensive. Anything diagnostically from brakes, suspension, engine performance, transmissions, it's covered here. And again, it could be a lot of makes and models. Big aspect of this program too is the live work. We have very few cars that are dummy cars that get banged on semester after semester. So what does that mean? It means the work that comes in here is going to be done safely, correctly, on time. Kind of create some customer service there as well. And I know for a fact employers that hire our grads in the automotive world love that we do that. It replicates what they'll see in the industry, and we're happy to do that as well. One bonus for me too as an employee here is work that needs done on my vehicle is done for free. I mean, I pay for parts and stuff, but it offers great experience to our students, and it's a benefit for me as well, which I love to take advantage of. But same thing for our students. If you have our student coming in that will need some work done to their car, girlfriend's, parents' car, we can arrange that to be scheduled out to be done. So that's an exciting aspect of the program as well. So as we cruise through here, a bit of, this isn't the way it normally looks back here. We're kind of in a cleaning phase with students being off. But I wanted to show this classroom here. And this classroom is kind of where like the cutting edge aspects of automotive are coming through here. This is our engine diagnostic class. And a lot of this is scan tool based, high level technology in the automotive world, where we can essentially pull a vehicle into this class, hook up a scan tool to it through Snap-on, and did different codes. Maybe a certain cylinder isn't firing correctly, whatever it might be. This is where our students learn how to diagnose modern engine performance and that kind of thing. Quick kind of side note, if any of you guys are Paul Danner fans out there on YouTube or other forms of social media, he filmed a lot of his lessons and different videos in this shop right here during his class. So this is kind of like a famous little spot here. He's got views from all over the world. That's all kind of where he filmed in here as well. So great class for our students. And we're even exploring, it's not quite a full-blown yet, but even like the autonomous vehicle technology. Lindsay and I live in Pittsburgh. We see the Uber and Argo and self-driving vehicles on a pretty consistent basis. And this is where we're going to start teaching that technology as well eventually. So let's get cruising back. Is there a phone call?
Spam.
If you guys can't hear me or if you need me to stop, please let me know. I'm happy to do so as well. This is our, what's that?
In the comments, if they can.
Yeah, in the comments. If you need me to stop, pause, refresh something, please let me know. It's our first time doing this, so we're working this thing out. Oh, really quickly, we're not going to walk this way too. We do have a dynamometer, if I can't say that correctly. Nice kind of engine performance tool for our students as well. So this area, again, this is all still automotive technology. 25 lifts and bays. We're going to cruise back towards HVAC. But as we walk through this, keep in mind, this is still all automotive. Got our tire machines here, brand new Hunter ones, new alignment racks as well. So this is kind of where a lot of our technology and that kind of thing is being put as an example of that. And again, us being a nonprofit, the money we take in, reinvesting in technology, this is more examples of that. That classroom, these new tire machines, alignment racks. This is how we become a place where employers want to hire grads because we can stay on top of current technology. And if we don't, we're a dinosaur. So that's one of the things we have to do to stay on top and current to make our students in desire. That's one of the things we have to do in this example. Okay. Good?
Yep.
I'm going to briefly walk through HVAC here. We'll touch on the labs briefly, but I want to make sure you guys understand what HVAC is, first of all. If you don't know what that is, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration as well. So it's essentially environmental controls. So like, I know this is the perfect example. Of all, I'm going to backtrack for 1 second. Of all of the programs we teach, if you look at like projections of where jobs will be based on and different labor statistics, HVAC is among the most in-demand industries, not just in the trades, but in general. So I believe it's one of the high, if not the highest in-demand trade, but it's also one of the most in-demand industries in general. So the reason being, for the most part, was there was a major real estate boom in our country, 07, 08, kind of a bad news for the economy, that big recession hit because of it. But that said, for HVAC folks, it's kind of a good thing. I mean, it's just really skyrocketed demand because all those new construction of homes and businesses that were done in 07, 08, all those AC units, those furnaces, that 10 to 15 year lifespan, they have to be serviced, replaced, or repaired is hitting right now. And there are not enough folks out there to meet that demand. So, for example, Lindsay and I live in Morningside, near the zoo in Pittsburgh. And last summer, our air conditioning went out, and it was miserable. I couldn't sleep. I was whining, complaining. I didn't have air conditioning growing up, but I'm a wimp now. I can't live without it. So we must have called 10 different companies to service or replace or repair it that last summer, and not one could get to us within like a 3-week period. And you know, why is that? Because they're all so busy and so in demand. So there's a major gap there. Like, I know for a fact, if you open a heating and cooling company tomorrow in Pittsburgh, you'd have business day one. You got to be good to keep that business, but the demand is that high. So really briefly, I'm going to show you guys a residential lab. These are all different makes and models of different furnaces you'd see at a person's home. Gas, electrical furnaces, all different AC units along the wall there as well. A couple of troubleshooting, different diagnostic things when it comes to that as well. This is our sheet metal lab, as well as heating furnace as well. And here it's a little bit, a bit of a here right now. They're doing some transitioning, but you can see they definitely fabricate sheet metal. You can kind of see a mock-up of a residential area. They do the actual installation. So this does replicate what a student would see upon graduation in the industry. And then again, we're going to walk over to our commercial area, which this is kind of like the much larger furnaces and AC units. So chillers, boilers, that kind of thing. Yeah, massive units. Again, there's some transition. It's a bit of a mess, but there's transition going on. But yeah, massive chillers, boilers. I believe this unit came from the Ross Park Mall at one point. And again, the reason we offer all three aspects, residential, commercial, industrial, in this area as well, why? Excuse me? More opportunity, more jobs. You're not pigeonholed again to just being residential or just commercial. This allows students to kind of pick their pathway with some options, if that makes sense. So excited about that for our students as well. Are you on questions or anything so far?
Nope.
Cool. So we're going to check out, we'll keep walking here. We're going to check out in this building the last program, which is auto body collision repair. And then we'll take a quick walk, or a quick drive, I should say, up to our second building, which has diesel and welding. In between that, we'll see our truck driving program as well. So you can follow me back this way. I want to give a shout out real quick to Elliot Casker in Florida. I think she's a potential welding student. She messaged me this morning, and her father Mike. So hopefully those guys can get up for a visit here soon. Yeah, so if you look, if you pan to your left, this is still the automotive shop we just walked through. And then back behind me here, so from like here back, this is all collision repair. So it's still in the automotive world, obviously, but a different program. And collision repair focuses more on like painting, paneling, dent repair, vehicles that have been in accidents, that kind of thing. And this is where this program is taking place. Super excited about this program. I keep saying that, but I am. This program is about 5 years old for us, maybe a little less than that. And it's become light years from where it started in its initial phase. And big kudos to Brian and Greg, our instructors, for doing a lot of that work. But really strong program now growing for us. Paint booths now installed. I'm going to walk you over this way as well. Yeah, anything from panel, buffering, painting, a lot of unique. And I think what's most cool about this program too is that it can kind of cross right and left brains. It's basically, there's a lot of artistry involved in this program as well. So you can kind of be, still an automotive technician or collision repair technician, auto person with kind of an artistic flair as well. There's different ways to go with this as well. Some folks end up being, of course, folks that work in body shops and do that direct work. Some people want to go into estimating, working for insurance companies and being an expert on what it would cost to repair certain aspects of an accident, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different ways, again, you can go with this. ICAR certifications are big for this program, PPG as well. Comprehensive program. So I know I'm missing a few things on this program, but just in general, I'm going to go over some nuts. I'll wait till the end for that. We'll put like the program and that kind of thing too. But these programs that we went through today are all available both daytime and evening. And we'll talk about the differences at the end, but just keep that in mind. All these programs we saw here so far, electrical, automotive, collision repair here, HVAC, those are all available to be completed, I should say, both daytime and nighttime, if that makes sense. One program I neglected to bring up so far is our industrial technician program. So that is essentially kind of like not a mashup, but it really kind of relies on experience and curriculum from multiple programs. So very heavy in electrical, the stuff we saw initially. HVAC is an aspects of it when it comes to refrigeration and environmental controls. Students in industrial tech take classes on transmissions, take a little bit of hydraulics and diesel. So it's kind of like a mashup of all of our programs to be, upon graduation, a lead person when it comes to like industrial maintenance, whether it be a warehouse or a gas and oil site, that kind of thing. But it combines a lot of different aspects of all of our programs, welding even, to make a person like a Jack or Jill of all trades in a lot of ways. So, go.
Dave has one correction that there's no evening collision.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. No evening collision program yet. That's a really good point. There's no evening program. We'll address that all at the end as far as the associate's degree versus the diploma and that kind of thing too. But good point. Really good point. So, I mentioned earlier that we don't have like manufacturer specific, programs by itself. Now that said, we are increasingly partnered with different manufacturers. So Mazda, for example, has a phenomenal program I can tell you more about. But they offer additional kind of add-on experience and curriculum where you can earn Mazda-based certifications on top of what you're learning at Rosedale and then become fast-tracked into their employment. That's an option, not mandated. Same thing for Volvo. We're working with them in kind of the same capacity. So we can answer specific questions on that, but when I say we don't have like manufacturer-specific programs, we don't, but we have curriculum and certifications that add on top of our existing curriculum. Hope that made sense. Might look confusing, but if you have questions, please let me know at the end. And these vehicles here are all donated by Mazda, Volvo, just to have our students have like cutting-edge technology on different modern vehicles as well. So we're going to take a walk, or I should say a drive really quickly. It might be kind of loud, so we're not going to talk here for just a second, but we'll hop in the golf cart and we're going to stop and check out the CDL truck driving lot, and then we will cruise into diesel and welding from there. So bear with us here.
Stephanie Kasker says, great tour.
Thanks, Stephanie. There we go. Woo! Let's go set it up. So this here is our CDL lot, truck driving lot. You can see our fleet of trucks we passed on the way through. I'm gonna walk away from the car here a little bit. So this is the area in which our students, of course with an instructor, learn parking, loading, maneuvering, different aspects of the truck driving life before they actually get on the road. So This will be a lot of one-on-one, one-on-three instruction with students and instructor before they actually get on the open road. So this program for our students by itself for just truck driving is 10 weeks. So the first couple weeks are spent in the classroom on a simulator, which I'll show you in a second, a flight simulator for truck driving. Next couple weeks are spent here, loading, maneuvering, that kind of thing. And then the last 4 weeks or so of the program, our students hop in a truck with an instructor and drive throughout the city, up and down the interstates, and then to pass that course, you go up and test for your Class A CDL. So that's a fast track to employment for sure. I want to say something really quickly though to add to that, and we'll talk about it in a second, but our diesel program, we're going to see here in a second, that comes with the program. So if you are a diesel technology student, the Class A CDL, the same truck driving training, is part of that curriculum. So we're going to touch on that. Have a question? We'll cruise down to diesel welding now. Yeah, so again, this is our the Wilkie building, which houses our diesel and welding program and some aspects of the truck driving program we just saw. Yeah, this space, of course I work here, I'm going to speak highly of it, but this is one of the showpieces I love to show. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest facility for diesel technology, educational purposes in the state. Just like automotive, we don't pigeonhole our students like in just one manufacturer. So it could be Cummins, Mack, Detroit International, Volvo, agriculture equipment, generators, skid loaders. If it runs on diesel, our guys and girls in this program could take it on. That's kind of the point I'm getting at there. So crazy demand for diesel techs. And again, just to kind of reiterate, our students that come in through this program also have the opportunity to earn their Class A CDL. So that's a huge, huge portion of that, or bonus, I should say. I mean, a lot of times we'll talk to employers, you could be the best tech in the fleet, working for a certain company, but if you can't pull that truck like in and out of the garage for insurance purposes, it may prevent you from getting our students from getting that job. So we added that Class A CDL. It boosted employments, boosts wages. Again, a student-centered approach kind of led us to that. So students love that. So we'll go ahead and cruise back this way a little bit. And again, this is such a unique experience. It's much like a day like today, at this time, to be bustling with activity and noise, but yeah, a little different here today. And you may consider like a diesel shop something like dark, dirty, dingy. It's not the case. I mean, you can see it's very clean, sharp, modern, newer technology, all that kind of stuff. So it's a strong place to learn for our students for sure. They just painted these floors. It's phenomenal. Looking Wizard of Oz right now. Is that lame?
You should fix your hair, maybe.
Okay, so behind us there is what we consider like kind of all the lab area, and it's usually full of different, any of the trucks that our truck driving students use, our diesel students maintain and fix all those. So there are a lot of times those vehicles are in there, but then you come to this side of the lab, and these are broken up in specific by different aspects of the curriculum. So right in here, there's tire change lab and transmissions. We'll walk through here. Hydraulics lab behind us there. The biggest portion of the lab breakup is our engines. And again, different makes and models, Cummins, International, Volvo, Mack, Detroit. They're all kind of replicated there. Gives our students more options. That's the idea behind that, for sure. One thing that's pretty cool too, we teach here, I don't know if you guys have heard of like biofuel or green diesel. We do a little bit of it, but we actually bring the oil from like McDonald's or Wendy's or the fish fries in the area, throw some chemicals in it. There's more to it than that. Toss in the oven, there's a little more to it than that, but the output is usable green diesel. So that experience kind of looks good for our students' resumes, green technology. We're happy to champion that as well. So if any of you guys have seen like Top Gun or I don't know, like Navy videos, this classroom here is where our truck driving students or our diesel students who are taking truck driving, that portion of their curriculum, really cut their teeth. So if you want to pan up here, beyond like the log books and that kind of thing, this piece of equipment I think is awesome. It's essentially a truck driving simulator, much like a flight simulator, but for truck driving. So it replicates. It's really great for like gear progression. You can set like different weather scenarios: wind, rain, snow, triaxle, whatever it might be. But again, a good place for our students to cut their teeth before they actually get on the open road. And this kind of prevents any sort of safety or hazard issues. But yeah, great training tool for our students. It looks like Grand Theft Auto, kind of graphic-wise, I'm being honest, but it honestly is a really good training tool for our students as well. Do you want to stop? Any question? What time is it?
I don't know. 2:46.
46? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, this is going long. Sorry, I didn't realize. We'll wrap this up in just a few minutes. So yeah, you kind of pan and see the labs in this area. And the last thing I want to show you is our welding lab. So I'll show you this back here. I'm going to pan up and see the instructor boards. These are just a couple examples of our instructors up here. If we go through here, every one of these is listed on our walls, but it just kind of highlights our instructors' experience, where they've come from. And what's cool about that, I think, is nearly all of our instructors have gone either to Rosedale or a school like it, so they can really kind of relate to our students on what they're facing curriculum-wise, and it helps with job placement, obviously, too. So excited about that. Pause. I'm not just showing the class for 1 second. We're getting the lab open here. 1 second. Yeah, thanks.
Live action role play.
This is it. We're on live right now. So yeah, this is the welding lab behind us here. Beyond the diesel classes back there, this is where our other program is located here. So if you walk back through here, this program is a bit unique in that it's shorter in length. And the reason being is, well, if you take it in the daytime, it's 8 months. In the evening, it's 13 months. Monday through Thursday, I don't know if I should get nuts and bolts, but daytime, Monday through Thursday, it's 7 to 3:30. Evening's a bit different, but I guess the difference there I'm trying to get at is this is not an associate's degree program. It's more like certification and diploma based. So AWS, which is the American Welding Society, they're kind of one of the biggest industry recognized entities. They basically certify our students in MIG, TIG, stick, flux core, oxyacetylene, all the things that make our students to be successful in the welding world. With that associate's degree being taken out of that, there are less gen eds. So very few math science classes. There's a blueprint reading class and I think one technical math class. But this area is really kind of becoming a high-level welder in a quick amount of time, and a quick pipeline to employment. So we can kind of pull back here really quickly and just see. Like each student has their own booth. These booths are less than 4 years old. Butler Gas outfits a lot of the products, as well as Lincoln, of course. They're a huge help with us as well. So our students spend a lot of time with our instructors. You saw one of the instructors there. Former steam fitters, boiler makers, a lot of experience. So again, a lot of demand for welders as well at this time as well. Cool. We're going to walk back to the Market C, which is kind of our student break area. And I'm going to wrap up and take questions. So If you have questions or anything at all, now's the time to kind of type those in as we walk, and I'll address those here at the end. What are your comments so far?
Everyone's really enjoying the tour.
Good, good. Oh, look what's up here too. Sorry, stop real quick. So I didn't touch on the front building, but this is, you think of a traditional either four-year university or even your high school. There's always a library as a reference point, right, for different research projects or whatever you might need. We have the same kind of concept, but for us, it's usually tools. So if you're working on a certain project in the lab as a student and you're missing, let's say, a certain torque wrench or, whatever it might be, we have essentially everything in here. So you can basically check it out just like you would a library book. You sign it out, return at the end of the day. We've got everything. Same thing up in automotive. They've got it all up there as well. So, excuse me, it's a nice kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, reference area for our students, but they can utilize really any tool they need from that area as well if they don't have it in there. Is this weird, like I'm my back to them?
You're fine.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up in here, but again, we talked about the job boards initially. Same thing up here in diesel and welding and truck driving. These are all live gigs for our students that can walk up and check out, part-time and full-time. And again, this is where the kind of process starts to work with student services to get that resume ready, interviewing skills, all that kind of thing. Okay, so let's kind of wrap up here. Go over maybe some FAQs. And that kind of thing. So, first of all, if you don't know where we're located, we are in, right now, Kennedy Township, which is essentially Robinson area, about 7 miles west of downtown. So, we're not in the city of Pittsburgh by any means, but relatively close. So, I'd say, sporting events, when those come back, and concerts and cultural events, not far at all, but if you go 4 miles the opposite direction, there's game land and fishing and stuff like that. So, kind of the best of both worlds, I think, when it comes to that. We do have housing. So if you're coming from further away, we partner with what's called Penn Commons. They're right downtown. It's essentially dorm living. They are right in the cultural district downtown. We share space with Overflow Pitt students in Duquesne. I think some vet tech programs there. So that's an option for students as well. Okay, how do I apply? I know these are weird times. No one knows what's going on. I get that. But that said, we're here to help you. So if you do have a desire to apply and become a student here, we can still get that ball rolling. Couple ways to do so. One, send a message right now to Facebook. If you're in this message group, reply to anybody in the group. They'll reach out to you, direct message us. You can go on our website, any one of those ways. But that doesn't mean if you want to apply, you're committing to us necessarily. There's kind of a feeling out process. So we'll definitely make sure you feel comfortable. We feel comfortable with you. And through that process, there's an interview process, there's an assessment, but we can cross all that stuff when we get there. But just keep in mind, the biggest point I'm trying to make to you is, if you do desire to start the application process, we're happy to do so. Zoom, phone call, all that kind of thing. Is there a question?
There's a few questions.
Okay.
Chelsea wants to know, with the day programs, how long do classes usually last?
These are great questions. Thank you. Yeah, so that's a great question. The difference between the daytime and nighttime program, so daytime associate's degree programs for automotive, collision repair, diesel, electrical, HVAC, and industrial technician. It's 8 to 2, Monday through Friday, in a 16-month period. So less than a year and a half. Again, Monday through Friday, 8 to 2 for 16 months.
What's typical class size?
Good question. It varies a bit by program, but on average, no more than like 15 to 20 to 1. That's a large size class. I'd say it's more closer to 12 to 15 to 1, depending on where you are in your cycle. The gen ed classes can get a little bit bigger, but the hands-on program-specific classes, I wouldn't anticipate any more than 20 to 1, generally speaking. The most we go up would be 25 or 30, but that's an extreme rarity. So the evening program, the difference there, that's a diploma-based program. Wouldn't have your gen eds with those classes. The schedule there is Monday through Thursday, 6:15 to 10:30. 18 months though, so it's 2 months longer, but less hours per week, if that makes sense. And again, no gen eds, no maths, no sciences, no business classes, and no associate's degree either. That's more diploma and certification based. Good question. Again, we still have our student support's big time for learning support, test taking skills. That's an option for our students as well. Oh, financial aid. We are super proactive when it comes to that. I want to champion those folks for sure. I went to a four-year school out west, went to Arizona State. The first one, I was the oldest in my family, I should say, to go to college. So I did not know what I was doing when it came to FAFSA, financial aid, grants, all that kind of stuff. I know I blew it, man. I'm still paying student loans off. Conversely, our financial aid team, led by Kim and Rose and Valerie, they're phenomenal. So what they essentially do is, it's mandated too as well. Every student that applies and becomes accepted has to sit down with financial aid to determine, different grants, different scholarships. And it's a very transparent process where our students know, like, here's sticker price after this grant kicks in or after FAFSA kicks in. Here's the clear price upon grant. And it's different for every student, but it's clear for every student too, if that makes sense. So, again, of course I work here. I'm going to champion them, but it's legit. It's legitimate. They are very, very proactive and very helpful for our students. Any other questions I can think of? Job placement, really quickly. Again, I keep harping on it. That's what you pay for, I think, for a school like this is the outcome. So, we have super high job placement numbers. In 2018, I think our reported number was like above 90%, like 93.5%. Last year was right around 90%. So, compare that to any other school that's out there, it's going to be as good or better. It's crazy. So what does that mean? One, I think it means we put out a good product, which is our students, well-trained, in desire by industry, of course, because of our curriculum, our instruction, that kind of thing. But beyond that, there's demand in general for all of these industries. So, again, if this is your passion, to take things apart and put them back together, troubleshoot, problem solver in these industries, chase it. There's opportunity in it. Is that like a good closing statement there? I don't know. This is our first time doing this. I guess I'm going to wrap up now unless somebody speaks up or texts us. Really appreciate you guys being a part of this today. I believe it'll be kind of a live document, or not a live document, just a document on Facebook forever. So if you want to share this to other folks, if you're a teacher out there or a guidance counselor that want to share this, please do. Beyond that, we're looking to do more of this kind of thing. So if you want like specific coverage on diesel or HVAC or automotive that we didn't cover today in depth, let me know. I'm happy to do so again, maybe in a Zoom meeting or that kind of thing too. But again, if you're on your couch now, worried about your future, we can help you out with that. Call us. Look at the application process. Explore with us. We've got a lot of technology we're utilizing now, so let's get that ball rolling. Thank you all, and that's it. Thanks, guys.